We want to turn now to a story that has captured the nation's attention. A jury in Minneapolis will begin day 4 of deliberations in the trial of a former police officer who shot and killed Daunte Wright. Kim Potter charged with manslaughter after allegedly mistaking her gun for her taser during a traffic stop. Now there is a concern the jury may not be able to reach a verdict after a specific question from the jury to that judge on Tuesday. We're joined right now by criminal defense attorney Matt Fakuri. Matt, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I have to ask you, I'm sure there might be more than this, but I wanted to see if you could give me 3 scenarios that could happen if the jury does not reach a unanimous verdict.
Sure. So what would happen if the jury does not reach a verdict? Number one is that the prosecutors can choose to end the case. The case is essentially dismissed. They're not moving forward with the criminal prosecution, and the case is over. The second scenario is that the prosecutors at that point ask to retry the case. They can choose to retry the case, continue with the prosecution, and ask the judge to set it for trial. The third scenario is that both parties are going to realize, if this is a hung jury, that each party or each side had a problem with this case, right? There really wasn't a clear winner. And they might attempt to negotiate it, maybe for a lesser included charge, maybe for probation, because the prosecution obviously has a problem in rendering the conviction here, and the defense didn't win by an acquittal either.
What would be the lesser charge in this case, less than manslaughter?
Well, there's second-degree manslaughter, and I think that's where this case, and I think that's why the jury's having a difficult time as well. The 2 charges we have right now are first-degree manslaughter and then second-degree manslaughter. Second-degree manslaughter essentially implies that she was negligent in her duties. I think if there is going to be a conviction on this by the jury, I think it's going to be on that count. I think the first-degree manslaughter is a little bit of a stretch.
And really what they're trying to prove is that she was negligent. And what is the most important piece of evidence? Because even you're saying that this could be challenging in terms of reaching any kind of conviction.
I do. I think there's 2 pieces of evidence that are very telling in this case. The first is her testimony. When she testified, she came off as very kind, very sincere. They talked about how she never had any type of complaint against her. She never even fired her weapon or her taser. When the second piece of evidence was the actual video. And when she was viewing the video, as she testified, her body completely recoiled. She could not view it. She actually turned away. She began to cry. They needed a break, and it came off as very sincere. I think that goes to the defense theory that, hey, this was a big mistake. This was a very unfortunate incident, but it was unintentional. She's extremely remorseful. This was an accident and not a crime.
And when you say that, and we've talked to so many attorneys about the emotions behind this case, this is a very difficult case for some, controversial for other people. But when we talk about emotions and the jury's being able to have an opinion here that the law can stand by, the fact that she is so emotional, how much does that play into the decision of whether or not she actually broke a law?
Well, emotions are important when you testify. When you testify in front of a jury or a judge, they're going to analyze your credibility to see if you're kind of faking it or if you're being sincere. From what I saw in my experience, she seemed very sincere. Some things you cannot fake. And I think when the jury sees that, they're going to realize, okay, she wasn't culpable from a reckless manslaughter sense, right? That's first-degree manslaughter. There's a level of recklessness. If anything, she made a mistake that could be criminal or negligent. Now, again, what I think the defense attorney is saying is, look at how credible she is. Look at how emotional she was. It's clear here that she wasn't being negligent. It's clear here that she simply made a mistake. It was in the heat of the moment, and she wasn't thinking clearly, and she shouldn't be punished for this. This is not a crime.
Matt Fakuri, thank you for breaking it all down for us. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
My pleasure. Happy holidays. Have a wonderful day as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.